They're really trying to turn the screw with anything associated to PROBELLUM and MTK. Nearly 2 weeks ago, Matthew Macklin was stopped from boarding a flight to the US. Now, we know Macklin co-founded the MTK brand with Daniel Kinahan. They stopped him from boarding a flight. And last week, he insisted that he will fully comply with US sanctions. He was on his way to cover the unification super featherweight bout between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. He was not allowed to board his flight at a London airport. I mean, this is serious shit. This is serious shit. Now, I'm not putting nobody on Front Street. We know Ben Davison used to train fighters at the MTK Marbella gym. We know this. So he has links, tenuous links, into that world. And Bill Haney, Devin Haney's dad, announced on Fight Hype that Ben will not be traveling over to America, over to Australia, should I say, to be the chief second in Devin's corner, while Devin attempts to become undisputed lightweight champion against George Kambosos. And you have to ask, well, why isn't Ben going? Why isn't Ben going? And I think the suspicions are well-founded. Has he had his wings clipped as well? Bill didn't give a reason why Ben wouldn't be there, but he said he'll still be helping Devin and himself devise a plan and a strategy for the fight. He said he'll be there in spirit, but just not in the physical. Lee Wiley as well. Lee Wiley and Ben will still be devising a strategy for the fight. Nothing official from the WBC, but Dimitri Salita is making his pitch. Now, Wilder, who hasn't won since 2019, is still ranked number 1 by the WBC. And Salita would like Otto Wallin to take on Deontay Wilder for the vacant WBC belt, providing you know who vacates. Only problem is Otto Wallin is ranked number 11. Why does Salita believe he jumps ahead of the 9 other contenders in front of him? Just have this feeling that Sullivan will let Wilder do what he wants. If he wants to fight for the title next, no problem at all. And he'll be allowed to pick his opponent from the top 15 from the WBC too. He's been very privileged from them. For whatever reason, they've allowed him to basically select his mandatory on occasions. So if Otto Wallin is polite to Wilder, Wilder might grant him the fight. Now, before anyone says, you was wrong, you was wrong, you was wrong, this is why I keep them away from the channel. I said it's more than likely going to be a controversial fight and a close fight. And it was close on the scorecards. In reality, it wasn't. I'm not going to have you guys throwing rocks at the throne. I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to have that. You don't deserve it. You don't put into the super chat. You don't contribute nothing. You don't deserve it. And I said I am open to be proven wrong by Bivol. Yes, I predicted the wrong man. Big fucking deal. Now, let's go and give Bivol, not you. You didn't go in the ring. You're a fanboy. You fanboys are trying to get too much fame out of fighters. And you're fucking lame. Some of you even have challenge and your fucking shit is garbage and trash. The shit you post up in comments is trash. When your content is being mirrored by big people and trainers and promoters in the game, then come talk to me. Till then, let's have a look at Bivol. Now, pre-fight, this is what I posted up on Twitter. Bivol needs to come out like Foreman did against Frazier, firing big left uppercuts and push Nello off him. Big man boxing. Now, he didn't throw the uppercuts like Foreman. It wouldn't have been a clever punch to throw so early in the fight. 2:30 into the second, as Canelo's advancing in, Bivol uses his forearms to throw him off. And he does it again, 140 into the round, as Canelo's trying to get his shots off. Pushes him off again. 127, he does it again. He's not letting Canelo set. Why didn't he do this in the first? Probably his cornerman had to tell him, yo, push him off. Push him, don't let him get shots off. Yeah? They could have also told him to tie up, but they told him to push him off. Bivol doesn't tie up. He doesn't tie up a lot. And one day someone may take advantage of that and take advantage of potential punching opportunities because he doesn't clinch. and perhaps tie him up and stop him getting his shots off. No fighter is complete. There's no complete invincible fighter out there. 40 seconds on the clock, pushes him off again and gets his combinations off. And he does it again, 34 seconds on the clock. He's stopping Canelo from setting. That's how Foreman got off on Frazier. Use your leverage and your size. Push him off. Bivol is able to retreat and reset effectively. He has strong fundamentals. That can't be denied. But against a quicker fighter, you're going to have to find a way not to retreat so much and use stationary defense. Push him off and keep punching range. And then you see Canelo throwing big, long left hooks missing. And that's because now he's throwing from distance rather than close up, because there was a few times Canelo caught Bivol in that second round. And when Bivol got caught, he just pushed him away. He pushed him away. He weren't going to get caught with the same punch again within a 2-3 second sequence. Only dummies do that. So he used his size effectively. And he passed one of my requirements I had on the breakdown, and that was breaking up Canelo's rhythm by pushing him off then punching. You see, in the amateurs, Bivol would just throw his hands from a standing position and just throw punches. As a pro, you've got to use your leverage. So he's using his forearms first. Push Canelo's arms back. You can't punch, but I can. Pop him, 3-4. This was a theme through the fight. Most of you ain't even going to notice it because your IQ ain't there. You're just like jumping in people's comment sections and running your mouth. You don't develop no theories, or you don't do your own videos of your studied research, but you want to come and try and tear people's platforms down. Nah, fuck you. This beats his time. Bivol, not as blatantly as Shakur Stevenson, he was using his hand as well and just keeping it on Canelo's head to steady him, head control, and he got shots off from there as well. Canelo didn't do much about it though, or couldn't do much about it. Bivol made it work. For the most part, he made it work. He threw hard jabs as well. Now, I don't think Canelo was being dishonest when he said he thought it was a close fight. I watched it back, and it was a little closer. Canelo did do a little better than perhaps what everyone is saying. He did land some good uppercuts, did land some good left hooks, did land to the body, but he just didn't produce enough. Bivol, nice rhythm, good volume, but not everything got through. Or Canelo would have been busted up. I mean, you're fighting a guy who's way bigger, a naturally bigger guy than you. If everything was getting through, like a lot of you were suggesting, he would have either been on the floor or been busted up. He had to wear the shades after. There was a little bruising around his eye, but you got to keep it real. Canelo did some good defense in there. If anyone thinks I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon with what everyone is saying to fit in, I don't fit in because most of you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. To be honest, you know what I mean? Most of you are very reactionary. I've seen it in my comment section. You're very reactionary. I didn't score it a second time around. Bivol still won the fight. He still won the fight. But if everyone gets off the hype train, it was relatively competitive. Don't get me wrong. Bivol wasn't hurt, or at least not noticeably. He wasn't winded at the end of the fight or anything like that. No. But if you're going to say Canelo did absolutely nothing, that's not true. That's not true either. He did look slow in there. He didn't look like he could carry the weight effectively at 175. He got away with it with Kovalev because even though Kovalev was effective, well, when I say effective with a jab, he landed, not with much snap. Canelo was always relatively close to him. Against Bivol, he just had too much ground to make up. Like, there was times Canelo tried to throw power punches, especially left hooks, and he had to pull the punch back because he knew he would just look stupid throwing it. Yeah, by the time it got there, it would have missed. All the steam would have left the punch by the time it got anywhere near the target. After watching it a second time, he has a shot at avenging the loss. He does. He has the ability to make some adjustments. Could he quicken up the feet a little? Time his punches better? Perhaps catch Bivol while he's moving back? Because Bivol will move back in a straight line at times. He will. There's a few things he can work on. Who knows? A few more months, he might acclimatise to the weight a little better. His body didn't look as chiseled as I've seen it. But he's getting older. And we've got to take it into consideration. Yeah, I think he can improve, but Bivol can improve also. One thing I stand corrected on my assessment of Bivol. I used to think he's not clinical enough. And even though I don't know about that, I've seen boxers that don't punch as hard as he does try and get people out of there harder than what he does. And because he's not like a clinical finisher or anything like that, To me, he always seems maybe one fight away from his fans screaming, oh, it's a robbery, or a controversial loss, and the belt's gone. Another thing Canelo needs to pick up on, I don't know what he can do about it, because if his feet don't get there quick enough, it doesn't matter. Bivol voluntarily goes to the ropes. And you shouldn't do that against a shorter guy, really. You shouldn't really. Because to me, he's not the greatest infighter. And that's where Canelo had a lot of his success, the little he did. He also throws these strange bent arm punches, weird looking punches. And look, it's just part of who he is, to be honest. And I'm nitpicking, no doubt. It was a good performance, excellent performance actually. It's just an example of some stuff that Canelo's got to pick up and tape and work on and see if he can exploit. Like, some strange shit is being said. People are talking like Bivol destroyed an empire. He didn't destroy an empire. I mean, he's the natural light heavy. Canelo wasn't busted up. He wasn't staggering around the place. He said he wasn't hurt after. I didn't see him hurt. He wasn't on the floor or anything. He got outboxed by a bigger guy. Big fucking deal. Yeah, his ego is bruised, but you didn't destroy a dynasty or an empire. He's still got all 4 belts at super middleweight. He's still arguably the biggest draw in the sport. What empire did you bring down? What is it you're celebrating? Wow, I'm quoting Mark Twain a lot. That's what I'm realizing. Who said, reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. Same with Eddie Hearn. Eddie getting destroyed. Hold on. Canelo fights for Matchroom and DAZN. Who does Bivol fight for? Matchroom and DAZN. I don't know if you guys are that desperate just to see the guy fail. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you could at least quote some accurate stuff to suggest that everything is falling apart all around him. I don't hear anything accurate that you say. Nothing at all. Nothing. Frank Warren does a stadium fight. Oh, Eddie's finished. But Eddie done a stadium fight last year with Anthony Joshua at White Hart Lane. He's also got the rematch in June with the Saudis potentially giving him a stack load of money to hold it over there. I don't know what you're seeing or what you want to see. He also promoted the biggest female fight of all time, apparently, at the MSG. 19,000 people turned up to watch 2 women do their thing. Maybe you guys are a little too desperate. You know what happened? Let me tell you something as an older guy. Like, if you're going to root for someone to fail, that's fair enough. But you got to at least quote something that's tangible to suggest that everything's falling apart all around him. One great thing about the rematch is Triple G doesn't get that trilogy fight with Canelo. Maybe DAZN are going to make him fight some real competition if he wants to secure that next bag. And that ain't such a bad thing. There's some good fights out there for him. Or he could just retire. He's got enough dough. He's got enough dough for giving us bum fights on DAZN. He really has. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just being honest. ZHANG. I like him. I'm not saying he's going to win the title or anything, but early he'll be dangerous. Even for Hrgovic. Southpaw. His opponent was totally outsized. No doubt about that. But I like the way he took the little step back and set him up for the backhand left and flattened him. He didn't make no mistakes up until the finishing punch. He's cutting the ring off, looking for openings. Scott Alexander, his opponent, had never been stopped before. Hey, I like the finish, and it's a shame Hrgovic wasn't there. A lot of people have accused him of not wanting the fight, but his old man died. I think, me personally, I'll leave that alone. Let the man grieve, and when he's ready, he'll get back to it. And hopefully they'll reschedule it and we get this eliminator. But I like Zhang's performance. Yeah, I did. He's got good power there. Obviously, he's an old boy and he's got an old boy's body. But he's not going to worry about that too much. As long as he's healthy and fit and he can get to the ring in one piece, ready to fight, then he's not worried about looking sculpted or anything like that. He just wants to be functional and efficient. I watched Montana Love against, was it Golas, whatever his name was, that went the distance. I think a lot of people were expecting a little more from Montana, but he did what he had to do. They're talking about him and Regis Prograis. He's no worse than Tyrone McKenna, probably better than Tyrone McKenna. And if he's up for it and they can get Prograis over to DAZN, because let's face it, he's in limbo with PROBELLUM at the moment, isn't he? They don't have a network, so I'm sure they won't stop him from getting a payday on DAZN. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight. They were both on the floor early. They both seemed to catch each other cold. Like, Montana was a little lackluster. Yeah, he lifts his head up when he punches. And he doesn't really need to, you know, like he could just jab more at the torso. And you can also just practice certain punches that you can throw without having to lift your chin up, like the overhand left, because he's a southpaw. You don't have to lift your chin up for that punch. Up jab. Just lift your punch up higher without bringing your chin up. You can do that too. So a few things to work on there. But considering, you know, he's come from the hood and jail and stuff like that, and he's worked his way into being a fringe contender, I like to see his journey carry on and see how far he can push it. The Pro Grace fight, it might be a little ambitious for him, but why not? Have a go. Have a go. Believe in yourself and have a go. Now, you don't have to believe me. I don't really care, to be honest, but I've edited this in after I said what I said about Canelo's defense actually being better than what a lot of people are giving him credit for. This is what Dimitri Bivol said post-fight.
I think it's, yeah, it's like I expected, but I didn't expect on Canelo with his defense. I knew he has a good defense, yeah, but he's much better than I thought.
You thought? He's much better than you thought?
Yeah. His upper body, it's good.
And that's God's gospel right there. I watched it second time around, and I saw Canelo's defense a lot better than what we're giving him credit for. A whole lot. He didn't win the fight, but there's the winner telling you the same thing. He tried to play down that his size made a difference, but it did make a difference. And that's not a slight against him. You see, his fanboys have been saying that too, that the size didn't make no difference, he was just a better fighter. No one is ever just the quote-unquote better fighter. It's all right having the size advantage, but being able to use it effectively is another thing, and he was able to do so. There's no reason to try and play that down, to try and get extra kudos for the win, that you wasn't at an advantage. Of course he was at an advantage. Look at the size of Bivol's legs and his frame to Canelo's. He said he rehydrated to 183. So he's not a massive light heavy in saying that. But he is a muscular guy. He's not some weakling. Let's not pretend he's some frail geezer that Canelo could just manhandle inside. That's not the case. Bivol showed us his left arm and Canelo's handiwork, where he targeted the arm, the bicep, and you can see the bruising on the arm. Now, Bivol didn't get it as bad as Callum Smith. He targeted the same arm in the same area, and it impaired Smith's performance, definitely. I mean, Smith was explaining how painful it was post-fight, but Bivol didn't get it as bad. There was rumors that Canelo had actually detached Smith's bicep. Bivol will be the favorite to win the rematch and then take on the winner of Smith and Beterbiev. I don't think Bob's going to put a rematch clause in that unification. I don't know if Anthony Yarde gets a direct shot at Smith and Beterbiev because, listen, Bob went from saying that Bivol is boring and he didn't want to make the unification against Beterbiev, but yesterday's price is not today's price. Bivol's price and Bivol's scalp is a totally different scalp now. Yeah? Bivol's got a target on his back now.
Yo, you got the juice now, man.
Bob ain't concerned about if the fight is boring. He's concerned how much he thinks it's going to draw. And now Bivol is a way bigger draw than he was yesterday. So I don't know if Yarde just gets the direct shot like that. I don't know. Has the WBC actually mandated him? I'm not sure if they have. I mean, they just announced Smith and Beterbiev last week. They just announced it.